Okay, so I need to edit the clip, so I just have the scenes that where I want to replace the chalkboard. So it's this one, and this one. Then I take these scenes into After Effects and I have to track the motion of the chalkboard. So you go to Effects and then Mocha. So Mocha tracks things. Sorry to any professionals watching, because I'm not actually a professional. I don't really know what I'm doing. I just sort of learned how to do this one thing. So this is how I do it. Is I generally give it the name to track, but these corners here need to go to the corners of the chalkboard. The data that comes from these corners is what's applied to the corner pins, and the corner pins is then what's applied to the chalkboard that I wrote. So all I want to do now, once it looks like the corners are in the corner of the chalkboard, it's quite blurry, this shot actually. You can see it's not really in focus. Who was operating the camera this day? Alright, but anyway, so I'll track it forward. That looks good. It looks like the thing is sat on there, right? And going backwards, this one could be a bit trickier because he goes quite extreme at the end in terms of angle. Okay, I mean that looks pretty good. That's a good one, I think. Some of them are a bit of a nightmare, especially when the edges go off screen. That's when you get this sort of complications, but it seems like it's good. Okay, so you save that, you can come out of Mocha. I need to make sure the JPEG. So for this first one, I'm doing just Mina. So I need to make a new comp from selection, and I need to make the comp the same size as this composition. Sorry, this composition. Which one am I doing? Is it 24? I think it's 24. Oh god, is that where I... Okay, that looks right. So, Mina composition. All I need to do with this is really just make sure the name's in the middle. And then I'll put a mask around the whole thing and feather it so that it just sits. There's not going to be a really harsh line when I put it on top of the actual chalkboard. So that's that. Now if I'll bring this in here and then go to the tracking, and then if I go export to corner pin with motion blur, layer is Mina, apply that, and there you go, it's on the board and it looks pretty good. Okay, I need to, it goes off the edge there, so I need to create my own black bar. So I can just make it comp size black, perfectly black, go OK, and then just transform and just move it down. Do just to match where, I don't know, like there. Obviously it needs to sit in front of Mina. Okay. And then I need to color correct this so it looks, because you can see it's actually sort of quite greeny brown. So for that I use I use a brightness and contrast, and I use a tint, and I don't really know if I'm using any of this stuff really correctly, but you know, I've just managed to sort of make it work for whatever reason. So I will tend to just try and click on the white as part of the chalk that's on the board, and then I'll do black the same. Oh, they look really similar. And then I see how it works. Okay, so you can sort of see that's 100%. I generally wouldn't do 100%. And then I can also adjust brightness and contrast. It's maybe a bit too bright right now. I feel like maybe I want that a bit more like that. I feel like you can't really see the edges, which is, although you can see a little bit of the of the old board poking through there, which means that the feather's probably a bit too hard, or just a bit, no, not a bit too hard, the opposite of that, too soft on here. Yeah, because it's actually massive. Bring that back, and then go back to this. See, now it's disappeared. Hey. Okay. And you can also see it's a bit blurrier. So I'll also go into effects and the blur and just get like a Gaussian blur and give it a bit. Not much, I mean it depends, but that seems sort of fine. What else do I need to do? Okay, yeah, that's another thing I need to do. So, the brightness and the colour and the contrast, it's all well and good in this particular moment. So I will add keyframes, tint, I mean, it's all of these. But then at other parts, the chalkboard changes colour depending on how the angle that Alexander is holding it, because it gets a bit lighter there. So I just use keyframes. So there, it's still the same. It's still the same colour and all that sort of stuff. So I'll add some more keyframes there. And this is just saying basically, I like this here. But when it gets to here, it goes a bit brighter. So I can change the brightness. You just need to change, so this is quite an extreme one. So get the brightness, that's too bright. Maybe it's a bit of the tint as well. Go back here, just mark this tint. And then go to here. Do I want to yeah, sort of like increase it. It's a bit brighter there as well. And then it changes quite quickly. So here it's all good. It's like 2 frames, or 3 frames, and it's sort of black almost. So you take the tint right off. And there, just get the last one right. Just take it. It seems like the tint is makes the most difference. So there you go. I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect. It stays the same colour a lot of the thing, which is the start really. So I'm happy with that. It doesn't have to be perfect. I maybe need to check this motion blur thing. So it adds the motion blur, the same as in theory. It's the same as what's on the actual footage. So that's one chalkboard done.
Whose name is
I
on
will
your
repeat the
board
same.
and why?
Mina, I'm so sorry, I'm trying a new theory.
The same steps for the other
I really
two.
hope it's not.
Mr. H already.
This one's a bit of a pain because the chalkboard is half off the screen. So I need the Mina chalkboard again. Just hide that for now. So this one's trickier because I feel like I almost have to guess. Let's see. So go back into Mocha for this one. So the whole name's visible, so that's a good thing, I think. But then in terms of the corner pins, obviously two, the top two are there, that's fine. And the bottom two, just sort of guessing a little bit. Let's see what happens. Okay, so what I can do here, up until there, it's sort of fine. Add a keyframe. Then I can click manual, and I think I'm also meant to delete what I've tracked. So I guess from here onwards, get rid of that stuff. So this one's fine. So now I'm just sort of going freestyle a little bit. It's okay, I can see the corner there, and the corner there, and then I just guess where these corners are. But, you know, I've got a fairly good idea. I mean, if you think about it, that was probably... So how does that look? This is quite, you know, this is only a few frames in the shot, so it doesn't need to be perfect. It's like it's going to be on screen for a fraction of a second. I could probably even make this shot, just cut it a bit shorter. I'm trying to think. Yeah, so that seems right, because I'm looking at here. I'm like, alright, that red. But then it's really blurry as well, isn't it? It's just, I don't think it needs to be perfect. Because it'll be blurry in all sorts. And this one is even more extreme. At this stage, it's such an extreme angle. Actually, it really doesn't matter. It's so blurry. And then the last one, I mean, this matters even less. You can't really see what's written on there. But hey, I'll do it. Oh no, that's not the right thing. Undo that. Okay. Save that. Come out of there. Tracking data. Create tracking data. Corner pin with blur. Mina again. Apply. And then make it visible. Okay. Obviously, I can just nick this one from the other comp. My little black bar at the bottom. And then again, and I can also nick the colour and whatnot from the last one. So the brightness and the tint and the blur. But then I need to just bear in mind that there's some keyframes on here which I won't want. Effects. All these early keyframes. Actually, maybe just even all of them. Because what do I need to do here? I need to be aware. Yeah, it's more like that, right? Maybe I'll just redo this tint. Okay. That's all fine. In it. Motion blur. That one's got this weird. It's got something to do with the fact that the frame is actually sort of. There's no movement between those two frames, so it's like there's no, as far as the program's concerned, there's no, it's not moving anywhere, so there's no motion blur. So I can fix that by going to the blur, keyframe there, so we're happy with that blur. This one, we need way more, and alright, it's a different type of blur. And then this one to go back again because the motion blurs back on again. I mean, that's fine. I think that's fine.
Alexander.
And then we can just watch it. Mr. Nature, my name. Oh no.
Not me as well.
See, no, you can't see. You can't even see. No one's freeze framing this thing, you know what I'm saying? Right, and then the last one. Replace with After Effects composition. Now with this one, we need the second Mina chalkboard. Where is that? Mina with an H. New comp. Make the comp the same size as. Wait a minute. Have I done that twice? Looks like I have done that twice. Comp settings. Make sure that the name is in the center. I can make it a little smaller. So there you go. And give it a little feathered edge. Not too much. Remember, it was too much last time. Okay. It's cut off again, but he doesn't move it as much. Or rather, they don't show him moving it that much. So again, one last time, going into Mocha. I do the words doop, 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 and then get the corner pins. That one goes there, that one goes there, this one goes, I don't know, here? And this one goes here? Just track it. Does that look about right? I mean, it seems to follow it pretty well. Let's just see how that looks. Okay, tracking data, create tracking data. I need to bring the, it's this one, isn't it? Yeah. Need to bring updated Mina into here. Corner pin, explosion motion blur. I should have changed that sequence to be Mina, but never mind. Okay. Yeah, I think that's fine, isn't it? And then you've got the same thing. So let's take all the brightness and blur and tint from the previous one and do it on this one as well. And then just take off all the keyframes. Brightness seems like it needs to be a bit darker, or maybe lower the brightness, decrease the contrast maybe. It seems okay. It seems good like that. That's fine. Sort of here when it starts to change. Because he's done the H as well, I need to move this one. To block that. Okay, so that's good. Okay, let's just do brightness, take keyframes. I'm happy with how it looks here. All these, delete them. This is actually a bit of a pain, this one. Just in terms of the colour thing. Because there, I guess all these are okay here. And then here it's a bit darker, is it? Is that good?
Alexander, whose name is on your board and why?
Mina, I'm so sorry. I'm trying a new theory. I really hope it's not.
Mr. H on my name.
Not me as well. I'm really sorry about that.
There we go. That's how you do that.